There are several ways you can write and execute your Python code. So Python code can be written and executed in the Python interactive shell, or in the Python interactive window, or in a file with a .py extension created in your editor or IDE. First, let's have a look at the Python interactive shell. The Python interactive shell stands between the commands or actions and their execution. It waits for the user's commands, executes them, and returns the result of the execution. So let's open our command window. In Windows, you can just go and search cmd, command prompt, open it. In your command window, you can invoke the Python interpreter like so. Python. Here, in the first line, you can see the version of Python 3.7. The interpreter is started. This is the command prompt. You can type anything here. So let's type X. Enter. What we get is an error, name error, which says name X is not defined. So it doesn't work because this is not valid Python code. Now let's enter some valid Python code, like for example the print function. Print hello world. Enter. Now this code was executed and here is the result, hello world. Let's make a quick calculation. 5 plus 3 equals 8. Works fine too. When you're done with the Python shell, let's exit it. What we need is the exit command. Like so. Exit, enter. So this is how we can work in the Python interactive shell. Now let's have a look at our interactive mode in our IDE. Well, I'm using Visual Studio. You can use any editor or IDE you like. And first, let's open the interactive window. So let's go to Tools. This is how it works in Visual Studio. If you're using a different IDE, you have to check it out. Now let's go to Python, Python interactive window. And here's our Python interactive window with this prompt waiting for our input. And now let's type 5 plus 6, 11. Or let's use the print function. Print hello world, enter, and here's the result. Now, after we enter the statement and press enter, we can't go back to the statement and edit it. So if we want to change something here, it's impossible now. If you want to make a change, there are 3 ways of doing it. First, we can type the statement again, like so, print and so on, but this can be quite tedious if the statement is longer. So let's move to the other solution. We can copy and paste the statement like so. Copy and paste. Now here we can change something, like for example get rid of this word. Enter. Yes. And one more solution is we can recover the statement from the command history. Well, this is a time-saving feature. To do that, we have to use the up arrow. When I press once, I get the last statement. When I press twice, I'm moving up in the history. So I'm now at the statement which was before. When I press 3 times, I now have the first statement we used here. Now I can move the up and down arrows to move between the statements I used before. Now I can press enter, and here's the result. Well, working in interactive mode is very good for testing our code, but the problem with this approach is that this code is not saved anywhere. So after I finish this interactive session, this code will be gone. Well, you can't use interactive mode to save code to a file. And how do you save code to a file? You can use any text editor. Let's open Notepad, for example. Let me search for it. Notepad. Okay, here it is. And now I can type the code I want. For example, print hello from file. And now what is important, I have to save this with the extension .py. Let's name it welcome.py. This is the typical Python extension. And let's save it, for example, on my D drive in this folder code. Okay, save. I can now close this program. Now let's check out whether the welcome.py file was created in the code folder, my D drive. So let's go to my D drive, code folder, and here is my welcome.py file. Now how can I run it? I can now go to my command line, and first I have to change to my D drive. Now I can cd to my D code folder where my file is stored, and now I can type python welcome.py. So here I'm starting the Python interpreter, and here is the name of my program, my file. Enter, and here is the output from my file, hello from file. So the file was executed. We can also run our code directly in our IDE. For example, in Visual Studio, if I want to save my program to a file, I have to create a new project, select Python, and then Python application, give it a name, like for example, welcome, location, here, okay, and here's my welcome.py project. In this file, I can type my code, print hello from Visual Studio. And now to run this code in Visual Studio, I can go to debug, start debugging. Here is the result, hello from Visual Studio. Or I can press this button, hello from Visual Studio. Or I can just press F5, hello from Visual Studio. If you're using a different IDE, you have to check it out in your documentation how to run programs. We can use Python in interactive mode as a calculator. So let's go to our interactive window, and we can use the standard mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and exponentiation. Here are some examples. 5 plus 3 equals 8. 4 minus 2 equals 2. 8 times 2 equals 16. 7 divided by 4 equals 1.75. 2 to the power of 5. This is the exponentiation operator, so this means 2 raised to the power of 5. And the result is 32. We can use the underscore sign in our code. It only works in interactive mode, and it keeps the most recent output value. So for example, 5 to the power of 3 equals 125. And now in the next line, if we type 4 times underscore, this underscore refers to this value, to the last output. So it means 4 times 125, and the result is 500. Now I can use the underscore again, minus 100. This time this underscore refers to this value, the last output, and the result is 400, and so on.